Hello, babes, and welcome to Coffee and Tequila, the morning show on some days.
And the late show on other days?
Ooh, I like that. Should that be our thing?
It'll
Is
be
that
our
new
thing.
Okay, my name is Zach,
And I'm Alastair.
and this is Coffee and Tequila. This episode of Coffee and Gotta do it quietly, man. We got microphones.
I know. We should put foam on them.
This episode of Coffee and Tequila is currently being sponsored by Helix Sleep, as always. And we'll let you know a little bit more about them a little bit later. Speaking of sleep, it's dark now.
It is.
I have to say, it's hitting me. I'm depressed. I feel so. I'm just gonna lay down here on the desk and put my head down for the rest of the episode, and you can just watch me wallow in seasonal depression.
I feel like daylight savings time has hit us hard. At least I know it's hit me hard. I woke up this morning. It was light out. I did not like it. I like my mornings.
I would think
nice
you would be.
depressing.
You would like that.
I don't like that.
Okay.
I don't like that. And then I came home and it was dark, and I don't like that either. So yeah, it was all my all the sun was in my eyes while I was doing PT. It was just not fun.
Wasn't it earlier this year that Congress was supposed to be making a decision on whether this was the last time we were going to change clocks or not? Did that ever come to fruition? Was there ever
Does anything in Congress come to fruition?
We'll get there. No, I don't know. I work mostly in this room, right? And so I have a desktop over here that swivels around to this here desk that we sit at, and behind the slat wall I have blackout curtains from the windows, so sunlight never comes in here anyway. But whenever I go in the living room, it's full of light because there's big windows in there, and it's real nice. We don't ever have to turn the lights on in there. And I went in there about 4:30 or 5 today, and it was dark, and it was just hit me over the head. And I was like, oh gosh, I hate this. And I hope this is not a permanent thing, because why wouldn't we want to just add more daylight hours to the end of the day? I don't understand that. I don't understand why what the decision would be there to put your daylight hours at the top of the day. Why?
Well, the decision is to have more daylight hours in the day versus in the working day.
Why is my question.
So that you have more light.
We have light at the end of the day, too. I don't know. Questions, answers. Anybody got them for us?
No. So, Arizona doesn't do it.
Do they not?
No. They don't do daylight savings
I think
time.
I've heard that. I don't know any details on that. I've never lived in Arizona, but maybe Texas don't need to do it either.
Maybe.
It sounds very liberal of you, Texas, to be participating in daylight savings time.
I'm pretty sure there's some economic, I wouldn't say benefits, but accrual.
I don't know, man. Tomorrow's voting day, or today, as you're listening to this. This episode should be out in the morning of November 8th. It's voting day. It's midterm day. This is the first real big election since the January 6th insurrection. So it's a big one. This is a big one. And it's gonna be sunny and bright, and
Unfortunately.
hopefully that's a good omen. Unfortunately, would you rather it be stormy?
It doesn't meet my mood. I hope today. I hope today.
Okay.
It's super cloudy, maybe a little stormy,
No,
maybe a little sprinkles of rain.
That's not what we want, baby.
I love the moodiness of it. Really, we need a blanket. We need some hot tea. We need just a cozy book to get sad to. I love it all.
I just picture you sitting on the couch, wrapped in your blanket, and you call out "book."
Okay,
and
we are past October.
The book lifts.
We are in November now.
And floats
I'm not sure if
across the house
onto
onto your lap. One of the biggest privileges we have in this country is to participate in democracy and go out and vote. And so we are going to go out and vote. But I'm a little bit nervous about it because they didn't send us a voter registration card.
They did not. But
Oklahoma did.
They did. Oklahoma did, and I was a little iffy about Texas because we were really rushing to try to register while we're here, and they didn't send us anything. So I called them, and we're both registered to vote. We should be able to use our IDs.
There's a list of things that we can bring in order to vote, right? And one of them is a Texas driver's license, and I do not have a Texas driver's license yet, but I do have my military ID and I have my passport, so I think I'm going to bring both. And it says that I can use those.
We're just going to bring everything.
Everything. My birth certificate says I'm born in Texas. I'm gonna wear a Texas shirt.
Mine says I'm born in Mexico.
Yeah.
It'll work.
Don't bring that one, please. I'm not with you. I'm not with you. Okay. We got to see what the person handling all of that information looks like. If he wears a MAGA
Watch
shirt,
him look at that and kick you out.
I would be. I'd be the one. I'd be like, sir, are you here legally? I'd be like, okay. I don't know, man. Yeah, I was being real nervous about this because we didn't have the voter registration card. And so I have been searching my name online just to see if I'm registered. And it says I'm registered. So hopefully all goes without a hitch tomorrow. Have you heard that? I don't know, all early predictions and all of that are saying that the red wave is coming. I think the last article I read said something like we're I don't know, Republicans are set to gain like 15 seats across the House and the Senate.
So I have a CNBC article in front of me that says what started as a red wave is turning to a red ripple. So hopefully, for my part, that's accurate, because I know that I'm here, especially in Texas. I feel like we're voting for so much right now. I feel like I'm voting for the women in my family, and I'm voting for the possibility of, even though it sounds crazy that this would happen, but the possibility of our marriage being illegalized.
I don't think illegalized.
Illegalized.
Is that a word?
I don't know.
Becoming legalized. I don't think it's crazy. I think that sounds like such a possibility. We're living in a state where they just put out not too long ago, earlier this year,
They did.
a Republican platform. What platform they're running on, and in it very clearly says that they want to reverse the decision of the Supreme Court to make gay marriage, gay marriage, the law of the land. But they wanted to bring it back to states' rights, and like states get to decide that, and that made my decision right there. There's no way I'm voting for a Republican after that, right? Like no freaking way. This is the thing, right? We are in a point in this country where everybody's just going to vote. I feel like it's always been like this, but you're going to vote for what's going to make your quality of life better, right? Like you and I are going to vote selfishly to make our quality of life better. And people in middle America, people anywhere, are going to do these same exact things. There are just your regular voters who are tired of the gas prices. They're tired of everything being expensive right now, And so they're going to vote for what they think is going to make their quality of life better. And because we have, a Democratic administration, that's who's going to be blamed for everything right now, and the way, inflation and just all of that good stuff. Whoever's in office is going to get blamed for everything, right? I don't know. Are people going to go out and vote? I guess that's the question. Is like that's the big one. Are people going to go out and vote? And who's going to go out and vote in the majority? I think that's we're going to know.
I mean, that's a big question that hopefully tonight. Tonight's that question is going to be answered. So we will do our part, there. And then hopefully y'all can exercise your constitutional rights.
Go out and vote. That's the thing. It's like I feel like it's more fruitless at this point in time when today is voting day to change anybody's mind and try to appeal to anybody's mind. You're going to vote however the hell you're going to vote, and I'm going to go out and vote however the hell I'm going to vote. And you know what? That's that. Now, we have hot topics for you today. Kit Connor, who plays Nick, one of the two leads in Heartstopper, came out as bi the other day on Twitter, but not because he wanted to come out as bi, but because freaking entitled ass fans
forced him to defend his own sexuality.
Basically, because they were accusing him of queer baiting, right? Yes. This word queer baiting is getting wild now these days.
It is getting wild, and I think that it's such a, especially when we have younger actors playing queer characters, it's such a leap to ask them to come out as queer themselves, because you don't know yourself yet, right? So even if you was straight...
He's 18 years old.
Exactly. And even if you was straight and playing a queer character, I think that's perfectly fine, because you don't know who you are. You don't know if you're queer or not. And then trying, almost being forced into a box because people think of you a certain way. It's just bad.
You're getting hate online by people who have a freaking Heartstopper fan account, and you don't know what the hell they look like. It's a bunch of 13-year-olds online is what it is. Bullying this guy because they think he's playing this gay character or this bi character in the show, this fictional show. It's fiction, guys. It's entertainment. It's fake. And they just can't separate that from reality and demand to know his sexuality, right? Because he's flirting with the girl, or he's flirting with the guy, or he's doing this or that, and they're just following him around, wanting to know too much. It is no actor's responsibility. Actor, musician, anybody. Let me tell you something else. It is not Harry Styles' responsibility either to let anybody know whether he is gay, bi, straight, any of it. Yep. It is just not, okay? If somebody identifies as queer one moment and then not another, that's their own journey, okay? And it's not for you to tell them if they're lying. It's just not. And so this kid, should not have had to feel that pressure to come out just because freaking entitled assholes pressured him into doing it. You know, it's ridiculous. You missed the whole message of the show.
So
basically,
I've actually thought about this a lot, and I think that Billy Eichner, when he was promoting Bros, made a really good point where he's like, it's not that we need all gay characters to be played by gay actors. It's just that we want gay actors, queer actors, to get the opportunity to play gay characters, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's perfect because, there's a lot of straight actors who play gay characters, and it's worked out perfectly.
Happens a lot.
I saw a tweet recently like, you only want gay or like queer actors to play queer characters. Do you really want to put Ewan McGregor out of a job?
Do you think? What about you? What do you think? Do you think that queer roles should go to queer people, or do you think straight actors should be able to play those?
That queer people should get special consideration. However, I don't think that it should necessarily always go towards queer people if somebody's perfect for a role.
Yeah.
And as long as they give it respect. So I don't necessarily think that we should only focus on that. And especially like you also force people to like come out if they are queer and they just want to explore a queer character, on screen and explore that side of themselves, and then we're forcing them to like out themselves before they've explored that.
Well, that's the thing, right, is we're not entitled to their sexuality and their journey, we are getting the entertainment that they're providing, but we're not entitled to any of that personal stuff.
Well, you also had a bunch of this in the book community. The Love Simon author, the one who wrote the book, she got a lot of hate, and then she eventually had to come out as bi. She didn't have to come out as bi. She came out as bi. She had to out herself
in order to
because people were saying you shouldn't be writing these queer characters. You shouldn't be doing this. You don't have this experience. You're just a straight woman. And she was like, actually, I'm a bi woman. And she was forced to basically come out.
Shit. That's some bullshit.
Yeah. And you get this all the time, especially in the book community, where like people either they want you to write diverse characters, except if you are not diverse, you shouldn't be writing those diverse characters. But if you are also not diverse, then you should also be writing those diverse characters. So it's like, it's a give and take. And I think that you just need to be respectful all around. And if you don't know people's experiences, explore those experiences with people who have those experiences.
Well, talk to people, get people involved in your life. I feel like it's very easy to take consideration with the topic and the subject that you're covering, right? But like, I don't believe that has to be exclusive. Like, obviously, I'm not going to go write a book about the Black experience because I don't know the Black experience, right? But like, am I not supposed to ever include somebody who's Black maybe going through something in a project that I'm doing just because, right? Like maybe I won't like make that my central focus there because I don't know that experience enough to write about it. But I don't like it. Kind of goes. Do you remember when Taylor Jenkins Reid? Mm-hmm. Taylor Jenkins Reid. Yeah, got like shit for writing Evelyn Hugo.
Yes,
a straight woman writing like a lesbian, and that was so ridiculous. And that's such a good book, and that character is so great.
She got flack both because she wrote a lesbian, and secondly because she wrote a Latina. There's people saying, hey, it's Latinas telling you, or Latinos telling you not to write a Latino character. But there's also a lot of other Latinos saying that we love and we identify with your character. And I think it comes down to your A and B readers, or if you're a show writer or something like that, having people on your staff who have those experiences that can check your work and make sure that those accurately depict those experiences.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? Is like also, you just take careful consideration with the topics that you're covering. I think that is just the way to go, but that doesn't make you exempt from being able to cover that topic, Like no community is a monolith where everybody's going to believe the same thing. And I hate when people are like, well, listen to the Latino community. They're telling you not to write, Latino characters. Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's like, I never said that. I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Who said that? A certain group said that, not everybody's going to believe that same thing. So it's just
another group, because we're all different. We have different experiences. Yeah. If you don't like the way you're depicted or your experience is depicted in a book or movie, put it down, and also you can talk about it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Just make a dialogue about it. I just don't think that it has to be.
Well, people are policing
Crazy about
art
it.
these days, right? People are policing
talked about-
art
yeah.
and entertainment and all of that, and everybody feels it's so strange that everybody. And I'm a walking contradiction. I might do it too sometimes. I'm very hypocritical, okay, I totally admit that. But
We're all human.
we're all human. But you know, it's like, who the hell do you think your asshole ass is? Feeling entitled to tell somebody how they can and cannot tell a story, or what roles they can and cannot play, right? Like, obviously, maybe Julia Roberts as Harriet Tubman ain't a good idea, but like, do you get the reference?
No, I do get the
remember?
reference.
Okay.
I do get the reference.
But like Kit Connor, whether he was straight, gay, bi, whatever, he was playing a role that really is not. It didn't matter. And for him to feel the pressure to come out because people are fucking assholes and bullying him on the Twitter.com is ridiculous.
Dude, I will say, if we ever had a child who was a star, I probably wouldn't let them have social media because I wouldn't want them to see the ugly side.
I mean, social media plays such a heavy role in like anything you're going to do these days that it's almost like, how do you have one without the other? How do you boost a profile without the other, right? I can't stand social media. I hate Twitter. I hate Instagram. I don't ever like hardly know what to post on those
It's so
things.
ironic that you just said that.
But I have to have those, you know, because what I want to do, what I want to be doing, and I want to get the word out and stuff like that. It's kind of integral, you know. So it is like a necessary evil. Like, again, speaking of Twitter.com, so Elon Musk is now taking over Twitter.com.
Speaking of editing stories,
everybody's talking about that one.
very interesting. He purchased it for what, $44 million? Billion. Oh,
billion.
Bees.
I don't think it was a million.
Yes, but I wonder how Twitter actually makes money. I bet you it's selling a bunch of data. I bet you it's data selling how Twitter makes money.
Probably.
And like almost immediately, which was crazy, he talked about like people who have verification marks are gonna have to pay $20 a month, and then he walked that back after Stephen King.
Was it $20 a month or was it $8?
It was $20 a month, but then Stephen King tweeted about it, and he's like, "How about $8 a month?"
I don't know.
So he switched it to $8 a month, which has been hilarious because the entire point of a verification check mark is to verify that that person is who they are, especially if they're a public figure who often gets like
copycat accounts
often
made,
copycat
like catfish account made.
exactly. So like the whole you have to pay to be verified completely cuts under exactly what verification is. Plus now in the last couple of days you've had so many Elon Musk verified accounts that have been tweeting on his part and have been like permanently suspended, and it's honestly hilarious because like how did you not see this coming?
Yeah, absolutely. And then he had to like come out and he has to like he just tweets every other minute is what it seems like clarifying his rules and his regulations that he's like starting to put forth. And he's like, wait,
we can bring comedy
you
to
can
Twitter.
Do it. you can do it. You can have a parody account, but you have to list it as parody, right? If you don't, then your account's gonna get like deleted. You know? But pay us your $8 as well.
But the thing is, in the it doesn't have his name. It was like at Kathy Griffin. It was like at somebody else.
They weren't
you know?
like listing it as parody, and they weren't like a specific parody account, and their account name wasn't parody. I don't know. It seems like I'm having a hard time keeping up with the whole thing because it seems like he's floundering a little bit. Like he made an impulse buy, and then now he's trying to like do something with Twitter, and is.
Yeah, so I
it doesn't seem like it's all coming together the way he was thinking in his head.
So people suspect that he was locked into a contract, but now he's making so many rules about Twitter that I think it's going to change the Twitter sphere itself. So like he I think released recent. I think it was today. I mean yesterday. If you're watching this or listening to this now, that we no longer are going to have that limit on words for tweet.
Oh, were they not?
And you're going to be able to have those long ones. He said now we're gonna be able to get rid of like stupid like notepad screenshots. But my thing about Twitter, what I really like about Twitter versus like Facebook, is that it's easy to read and go through. It's
digestible.
Right? Yeah.
It's like
so if I saw a huge paragraph, I'm probably not gonna read it.
If you expand a paragraph on Facebook, let me ask you a question: do you sit there and read it? No, you scroll. That's the same thing with Twitter. I'm not reading your long ass things. I just am not. I also
Like
am not
and
gonna
share.
I'm not gonna pay $8 for the verification package because I'm not verified anyway. You know, I don't think it really is beneficial to me. But a lot of people use Twitter as their job. You know, like they make money from Twitter. They make
Well, that's
money
a
from having
business
their
expense
Twitter
at that
account.
point.
And so, like Grace Randolph, for instance,
Yeah.
from Beyond the Trailer, she's gonna do it because it's a business expense, right? She's going to write it off as a business expense, and it's beneficial for her. But then I've also seen people say, I don't know. I see a lot of also people complaining about like, oh, you know, Twitter is just, I have to delete my Twitter account now. I have to delete my Twitter account because it's just, you know, it's a hell in a handbasket now. And I don't know if it's maybe I follow just some really good people, but I don't see everything that everybody else is seeing, I guess.
The only stuff I really see edited is everything about Elon Musk.
My stuff hasn't changed all that much. I have to be real.
It really hasn't. It's just I don't know. I think it's just the conversation around Twitter and how Twitter is going to move forward from now.
Yeah.
You know?
Twitter's already a hellscape anyway. It's already like, it's full of assholes and shitheads and people, you know, behind blank profiles. You know, that's just what Twitter is, and you have to like already know that going into it. Otherwise, it's just not gonna. You're not gonna be able to handle it.
What I've been seeing is a lot of people saying, "Hey, where's everybody going to move to now that Twitter's going to be like this?" And a lot of people are talking about Tumblr.
Do you think people are actually? I'm not getting a Tumblr
Because
account. I'm just not doing it.
I'm not getting one either. But because Tumblr has brought back nude images, Tumblr was
But
known
you can't
as
do-
basically a porn account.
But you can't do porn. It's nude images. They're very specific with that. Not sexually explicit content.
Okay.
Though, just nudes. Just allow the porn. I don't know. Do you think people are actually going to in masses start deleting their Twitter accounts? Do you see it?
I see some people. I don't see everybody though, because it's not going to affect
I
everybody.
see a lot of people that I follow threatening that, and then I'm wondering if they're actually going to do it.
I think people really like Twitter. Honestly, Twitter's a super toxic, entertaining place.
Oh, it's a doom scrolling mess, and
Yes.
I'm not participating.
Your Twitter in particular is very scary.
Why?
There's a lot of
Oh, there's a lot of nudes on my Twitter.
Yeah.
I send
It just
them to
pops
myself,
out of nowhere.
That's what my inbox is when I send myself something. It's all porn. Porn I like on Twitter that pops
Okay.
up throughout the day. I just don't go on Twitter in public. Kind of speaking of porn,
oh god,
that's a good segue, right?
it
there.
was a good segue.
Bad Baby, Danielle Bregoli. Do you remember that Cash Me Outside girl?
Cash me outside.
The Cash Me Outside girl from Dr. Phil,
Phil.
Years ago she's made $50 million off freaking OnlyFans.
How?
$50 million.
How can we do the same?
And she just gave a speech at Oxford. They like brought her in as like a guest speaker at Oxford to like talk about being famous so young in social media. And she has like a scholarship fund now because she's a philanthropist, which is really good, by the way. I'm not going to shit on that. Making jokes, but I won't shit on that.
I mean, if she's doing good business practices, like good on her. Like,
so what she said she wanted to do was when, cause she turned 18, I remember as soon as she turned 18, she did OnlyFans. And, she said that she wanted to, her goal was that she wanted to, or let's walk it back for a second, right? So like she joins when she's 18 years old. I think it might even be the day, the week that she turned 18 years old, right? Like real jailbait stuff. And she made like $1 million in the first day without like really posting anything. And that was so successful that she told her team, hey, I want to do this like enough so that I can make enough money to have $3 million to just put away into an account, never look at, never think about. I forget it's even there, and it's just there, you know? And I'm living comfortably over here. She made in 1 year $50 million off of OnlyFans.
I mean,
We would not.
Babe, we can't do jailbait.
I know. Could you guys buy that? I'm 18.
I could.
I did shit like that when I was 18 years old. Where the hell is my money?
You didn't make
I didn't make shit off of any of my damn leaks. You know that? I didn't make nothing. This is so ridiculous.
I know. We should have had an OnlyFans back
These
then.
people with OnlyFans accounts don't know how good they have it these days.
Well, you know, good for her.
Good for her, you know. Good for $50 million. Shit, I'd do it. There's a lot I'd do for $50 million.
There's a lot.
I have to be honest.
There's only a few things I wouldn't do for $50 million. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Only very few things I would not do.
Absolutely.
Very short list.
I don't know. Maybe we should start up an OnlyFans. Everybody tells us to do it anyway. I don't think we probably will. I don't see it happening.
No, I think maybe in our 60s.
In our 60s, yeah.
Yeah.
Only Gramps.
Oh.
Jiggle these jingle bells.
Yeah. Everything's all loosey-goosey.
It's time to talk about Helix Sleep again, the sponsor of today's video, as always. Yes, Helix Sleep, we have 2 Helix Sleep mattresses currently. We have all of our bedding is Helix Sleep. We have a queen-size Helix Sleep mattress, the Midnight Lux mattress, and a king-size Midnight Lux mattress as well. We have them in both of our bedrooms. We basically bedroom hop.
And believe it or not, we did not choose a Helix Midnight Lux. It was chosen for us based on both of our sleeping patterns. Because we are a couple and we wanted something that fit for both. And luckily enough, Helix Sleep has a quiz that matches us with the perfect mattress.
Now it's time to tell you all a little bit about our sponsor for today's episode, Helix Sleep. Helix is a premium mattress and a box company that makes beds to fit your unique sleep style. Helix knows that everybody is different and everybody has their own unique needs, and so they've made a sleep quiz that'll match you with your perfect mattress based on your needs. I am an all-over sleeper. Alastair is more of a side sleeper. He likes a firm mattress. I like, more medium. We took the quiz together and we got the Midnight mattress. And one of the best parts about Helix is that they deliver the mattress right to your door for free. It comes rolled up in a box and is super easy to set up yourself. And if it makes you nervous to buy something online that you haven't tried, Helix has a 100-night sleep trial, so you get more than 3 months to make sure that you absolutely love it. And if you don't, they'll pick it up for you and you'll get a full refund. Well, if you're somebody you know is in the market for a new mattress and you think that Helix sounds right for you, you can go to helixsleep.com/tequila where you can get up to $200 off of your mattress.
And 2 free pillows.
I think you should do that from now on. I like it.
The 2 free pillows.
I was reading this article on, I think it's called inews.co.uk. UK website. And it was about somebody's wedding. This guy was getting married, right? So he had like 3 best men, three men in his wedding party, his best mates. So he invites them to his wedding. They're all in the wedding. They're having a great time. What's fun about this, about what's newsworthy about this, is that is the first time he's ever met those 3 guys that he invited to his wedding in person. Because during the pandemic, they were all playing video games online, and they developed a friendship.
Aww.
Yes, and so they have been friends online for a long time, and then just recently met for the very first time at his wedding. So
That's
3 guys
cute.
he's never met in person. He made them like his wedding party. He put them in his wedding party.
Well, that's actually really cute and really fun.
I think it's just very indicative of where we are in society these days, and with friendships and relationships, and
I would say, especially us, half the people we hang out with are online, right?
I think it's
I'd say even more for you.
Yeah, after the last couple of years, and lockdowns and all of that good stuff, people have started sort of branching out and making friends online. And especially, I know for myself, I've made a lot of friendships online in the last couple of years, and those are my good friends versus my in-person friends. I don't know if I have a whole bunch of them.
Well, we don't. So we hang out with several people. So to provide some context for people, for me, it's hard to be friends with coworkers because I'm not allowed to be friends with most of my coworkers. Because
those army rules. We're basically locked in a
I'm
tower.
in a boss level position. So there's only a couple people I'm allowed to be friends with. And then we have to watch how we make friends with other people. You're allowed to be friends with whoever you want to be friends with. So
damn straight.
We got to be
They're not going to tell me what the
that.
hell I want to do.
But I've been thinking about it more and more, and I do want us to have more friends on the civilian side.
It's always such an interesting thing. When you're not in school, how do adults make friends,
Exactly.
How do you make friends?
I'm actually looking at the 6 adult activities to meet potential friends. Join a gym, sign up for a workshop or a class, join a meetup. Oh, that's Meet Me. Meetup, Bumble, BFF, or other tech platform. Volunteer with a local nonprofit, find a church or spiritual service, or join a book club. We almost joined a book club once.
We tried. Yeah. We just never.
We should still do
It was
that,
right
though.
when we were moving, though.
I
so.
think joining a book club would be my go-to.
Well, you have to go out and you have to be social, you
Yeah.
know? You have to go out and practice being social in order to make friends. And even then, you're not going to be guaranteed to make any friends. I have to say, I've made all of my really good friends I've made online, right? And I've met most of them. I've met Ian, I've met Troy. I've met most of my online friends in person now, but I don't live near anybody. And like these are the people like I want to be friends with, right? I have a lot in common with these people. We always have something to talk about. But I find my in-person friends, they're more acquaintances, I would say. And I'm not even saying necessarily here, but like since we've been married, meeting people who just have nothing in common with, right? Like one of the worst things that I feel like one of the worst.
Some I would,
Not everybody.
Yes.
I shouldn't have to say that though. Like if it doesn't apply to you, it's not about you. Like Chase and Trey, for instance, right? Like
Yeah,
I had plenty to talk about
too,
with Chase
yeah.
and Trey. Like we used to hang out all the time. We would go to their house and we would just all sit on the couch for hours and talk about a bunch of stuff. The conversation flowed. It is like so grating when I'm sitting at a freaking table and all we can talk about are the drinks or the menu, and there is nothing else that these people like. They have no interests. I can't get anything out of them. I don't have to. I mean, we don't have to have the same things in common, right? Like they don't have to be into horror movies or Buffy or anything like that. But tell me something you're into, right?
Yeah.
I can't stand it when people are just like they don't have no interest. I'm like, what do you like? Do you like anything? Do you like cars? You tell me something you like, and the next time I meet you, I will come with like 5 pieces of knowledge just so we can open up some sort of dialogue or conversation. But if I'm sitting there talking about the fucking menu at the restaurant and that's the only conversations we ever have, dead relationship. And I've experienced that a lot with people in person.
I will say you are great in a group because I can see the effort you put into a group to make everything lively and fun for everybody. Mm-hmm. I will say one thing that
give me a lot of credit there.
We're missing out as a couple is we don't really have a lot of queer in-person friends.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we need because mostly we hang out with our straight friends. And I think that it'd be fun to have more queer friends who live locally.
While I would love queer friends, I'm not actively going out and looking for queer friends. I'm looking for anybody that I share my interests with. I'm looking for friends based off of my interests more than anything else. And I generally find those online, because you're online in those spaces with people who have those shared interests, That's how you start talking to people. I've met more people through my YouTube channel than I have in person since I've left college, And even you talk about your college friends, you talk about your school friends, You have a shared sort of bond during that time. And my shared bond was like drinking and doing drugs and, and joking around and playing. But then I've left college, and how many of those people do I still talk to? Not a whole lot of them,
Like a handful.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot, and so I feel like as you get older, you kind of get your sense of self, and you want to find those like-minded people.
Well, also as you get older, you only have a certain amount of bandwidth.
Oh, absolutely. I also need friends who are
who
are gonna leave me the fuck alone sometimes.
Well, that and like I can't be reaching out to all my friends all the time.
Yeah,
I need us to be on the same wavelength where even if I don't talk to you for 6 months, that doesn't mean that we're not friends.
It means we'll come around
eventually. Yeah.
Taylor Robbins is like a good example of that, right? Like I'm not best friends with Taylor Robbins, but I know that Taylor Robbins and I, like, we don't talk all the time. I think we haven't talked in like a year, But I wouldn't say we're not friends. I would say that he and I have an understanding where we come back around when we come back around. It just happens. Sometimes we'll like link back up, Whereas like Troy, I talk to him all the time, But also Troy understands my need for space because he's the exact same way.
Well, I think you and I are interesting because we're both. I feel like we're introverted extroverts. Mm-hmm. We're like, I'm an introvert. I don't necessarily like people. I don't like spending my energy with people because people zap my energy really quickly. But sometimes I need a fix. Like I need a social fix.
I cannot just. I need like a friend that I can like hang out with once a week or twice a week. That's what I want, But I want that in person. Like I want a Troy or an Ian or a Trent or an Arden, like in person. I don't know if I could go because I do feel like I'm more extroverted than introverted, especially when I need to be, right? When it's a social situation. Mm-hmm. But I could never go to a bar or never go to a book club or something like that. And I need a buffer. I need somebody there with me, right? So if I were, oh my gosh, perfect example actually. You recently had like this Halloween party thing for your work, right? And we've gotten into arguments about this actually. So I'd like other people's perspectives and opinions of this. he had this like Halloween party thing or whatever, and he had to bring a bunch of food in. He brought a bunch of tamales and like donuts and treats for everybody, and it was all his soldiers and all of the people he works with, and I show up because he's giving like some presentation as well, and I show up, and you immediately like walked me over to the corner, and I sat in the chair in the corner right next to one of your coworkers, and I was talking to him for a minute, but then he got up and was making the rounds in the room and like talking to other people in the room. However, I didn't know anybody, right? So I wasn't going to get myself up and go start randomly going in and talking to people and interjecting myself into like a couple people who were already speaking together, right? You parked me in a corner. And when the only person that I was there talking to got up and left, then I really had no idea what to do. And I felt like I was stuck. I felt like it was awkward. And I looked antisocial. And I felt like it would have been more awkward to get up and like go and insert myself into people's conversations that they're already having. And I felt like you should have, especially because these are your soldiers, right? Like you're the leader. You should have been introducing me to people and like walking me around the room, or instead of walking me into a corner, you should have, there's tables all in the middle of this room, right? And so I feel like you should have walked me to one of these tables and with other people there and like sat us with people. We should have gotten a plate of food, both went and sat down with our plates of food with all of these other people at the table who are also eating their plates of food, and then you get up and you can, like, you introduce me to people, and then you get up and you go do what you got to do. And then I'm there, I'm surrounded by these people, and I can already, like, it's already comfortable for me to go and talk, right? But, like, because I was sat in, like, a seat off in the corner, I just felt like it was too uncomfortable to get up and go talk to people. However, he believes that.
Okay.
Go
Anyways, first off, I'm not somebody who needs a buffer. When I first started going out to gay bars, I went by myself.
Yeah.
Like I've done a lot of stuff by myself, and I like doing that. And then opening myself up to other people. But to provide some context about what's going on, is this was an event that I organized for my my company, my battery.
Yeah.
And I am the boss, and it's also a family event. So typically in the military, when it's a family event, you are the boss, you bring in your spouse. The spouse kind of leads the family events. Not necessarily with this one, because we have a interesting dynamic. So when I went in, I didn't really expect you to I didn't expect to plop you in the corner. I expected you to be more social,
but you
how I've
plopped
seen
me in the
you
corner
in other groups. But you can move. Like I said, hey, I wasn't restricting you to a certain place. I expected you to go, introduce yourself, talk to other people, because I did have a presentation to give. I had other stuff to do, and I was almost expecting you to be I don't want to say self-sufficient, but
you wanted me to get up from that chair in the corner, and you wanted me to go and just walk over to people randomly and start speaking to them.
Yes.
But I've never talked to them before. Yes. They don't know who I am.
Yes.
It's very strange, Bobby. I don't know. I couldn't do that. I can be social when I'm there and but I need you to lead me there. Okay? I need you to introduce me to people. I don't know. We've had an argument about this one.
We have had an argument about it,
yeah.
And I think
we don't see this. We don't see it the same.
I think the truth is somewhere in the middle, because I don't want to. I'm already stressed enough, trying to put stuff together.
Yeah.
And I need us to be a team.
I'm not asking you to hold my hand, baby. I'm not asking you to hold my hand and stay with me and I'm hanging on you the entire day. I'm asking you to sit me. For us to walk in, I walk in. We go and get our plate of food. You sit me with another table of people, and then you get up and you walk off and you go do whatever you have to do. And you've been the buffer. You've made the introduction, and now I can sit there and start talking to people, right? Because you came over to that chair when I was in the corner, and you said, "Why don't you get up and go talk to people?" And I said, well, you've sat me in the corner or whatever. I said, let's go get a plate of food and go and sit me somewhere. Like, let's sit somewhere so it doesn't look weird. And we did. And when we did, I was like next to like two people, but I started talking to one of them and I was good. And I was talking to them and you weren't with me and you got up and you went and did whatever you had to go do.
I had to give a presentation.
That's fine. I'm saying that's fine. That was the point of the whole thing, right? I'm not asking you to sit there with me the entire time. I'm asking you to make the initial introduction so that I can be self-sufficient from that point, right?
Okay.
We're just not going to agree on this. I'm very curious what everybody thinks, though.
Okay. Well, I mean, and it's interesting because like
Yeah.
you have a lot more of like I have a very specific role in my organization, whereas you have a lot more flexibility of what you're able to do.
Yeah.
In terms of like interacting with people and stuff like that. So
I also think just naturally you're a person like that who is like, you can go into any situation and kind of like introduce yourself and make your own sort of way, right? And while I can be social when I'm there, I'm not super comfortable, doing that. So I don't know. I don't know, man. Making friends. What do you guys think? How do you make friends as an adult? Are you like? There's also people who are just very antisocial, and are like get anxiety from meeting people. That's you.
I don't get anxiety from meeting people. I just get anxiety from everything.
From everything.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. I have no idea who you are. I have no idea how you are.
You don't have no idea who I am?
Because I agree. You are somebody who is very social.
5 years.
When you could go out to a bar and make your own friends there, right? Like you did that. But the social situations I've seen you in, you go very quiet and you were kind of antisocial with people. Like when I've introduced you to college friends and stuff like that, you don't really talk to anybody.
So I think it's easier for me to establish a rapport. A repartee. Anyways, it's easier for me when I don't know the social dynamic that I'm walking into. So with you and your friends, I didn't really understand the social dynamic. So that was me being quiet, taking a step back, and observing what the social dynamic was before I found a place that was right for me in it.
Because we've had that conversation too, where I feel like you don't talk to or you don't make an effort with any of my friends and stuff like that. We've had that argument where I've made effort with your friends. Meeting them, like Sage and Arden and Alex and all of them, like those were your friends. They weren't my friends, but I made that effort,
your friends
and I
now.
but they weren't. And I never felt like you went and did that with my friends.
I think it was me trying to figure out. Plus, I will admit, initially your friends were pretty intimidating. Like the way I met Trent was like,
how did you meet Trent?
He just like came in and yelled and jumped on you like randomly. And I was like, oh, what is going on here? Like, I was like, yeah, but it was like, I was trying to figure out the dynamic of the group. And I think
that's fair.
I spent a little too long, but I think that you got a good, cause we were all living together I'm not all living together, but all living in proximity for like 6 months. So you got a good taste of my friends at the time. Whereas I like visited a couple times to Alabama.
Yeah. I don't know. I can make friends easier when I have a buffer, I think. And I think, I don't know.
Anyways, I think that we've gone a little off the board.
It's interesting, though. I find that so interesting. Are you guys somebody who has more online friends than you have in real life friends? And if you don't have as many in real life friends or any in real life friends, why don't you feel like you have in real life friends versus online friends? I don't know. What is your sort of social dynamic with friendships and other relationships? Let me know down below. I'm really curious about that one. I don't know. We're bitching about it. We also, like, we're very fortunate because you're like my best friend, So I have a friend living in the house,
You're my best friend too.
Oh my goodness, are we best friends?
We're besties.
How come we don't have a BFF like bracelet or necklace?
We need to
like
have
a
that.
half heart.
When I was a kid, like the only thing I ever wanted was a best friend. So, and I got you.
I married my best friend. Do you think you're a good friend?
I hope so. I think my major flaw as a friend is it's horrible for me to keep in touch. And I just want people to know that if I don't keep in touch with you, it doesn't mean that I don't care about you. It just means that there's a lot in life that goes on all the time.
But I think you as a friend are like, if somebody's not, and I feel like a lot of our friends are like this, right? Like if somebody is not in front of you, the communication is like hit or miss sometimes, you know? But like as soon as your friend, like Arden, for instance, if she's in front of you, it's like two peas in a pod, you know? Like you guys get along real well. But like she lives in Oklahoma still. We live in Texas and we don't talk all the time, you know? But I still love Arden and I love to hang out with Arden. But just kind of like that sometimes. But I know that you as a person, you're such a good person that you would show up for somebody if needed. You would. That's the kind of friend you are, I think. It's like you're no less of a friend to somebody, and when it counts, you're there. You know.
Well, I hope so, and I think for you, same, honestly, because I have witnessed you show up for a lot of your friends, a lot of your online friends, a lot of your family members. You're incredibly reliable, I would say. When you say you're going to do something, you might not do it immediately, but you're going to do it.
I would say I'm a good friend, though. I believe so.
I think you are.
I think I am. Let's hype myself up here a little bit. I do think I show up for people, and I'm there when it counts, and I am a loyal friend in that way, you know? I even get bitchy loyal sometimes, where it's like, you know, if somebody needs me to talk shit about somebody else because, you know, I don't know, I could do that.
Well, I know that's important for me. I think hate brings us together.
It's important for you. If he's talking shit about somebody, he fully expects me to talk shit about that person too, right?
Exactly.
He always reminds me, it's just us. We're just in the car right now, so just do it.
Like,
even if I don't believe it, you know?
Yes. It's like, or like I start to talk shit, and he's like taking their side, then we immediately have a problem. I don't care how unhinged I sound.
Yeah.
You got to agree with me.
I have to reverse, and I have to and then we start, you know?
Yeah. So, and whenever you talk shit with somebody else about other people, always brings closeness. Hate brings everybody together.
Oh my gosh. Oh, well, we're voting tomorrow. Today we're voting. I'll say that, like, I've realized in the last 5 years that just because you show up for a person, to whatever degree that you show up to them for, they're not going to match that. There's no guarantee that that person is going to match it, right? So you just do things because you feel like it's the right thing to do, and it sits good with you. But I used to a lot of times be like, well, I did this for you. You didn't do that for me. You know, how come you didn't do that for me? How come you're not showing up for me like I showed up for you? That doesn't always happen. I think that was my big thing with Jess, you know, is that I felt like I was showing up for her, but she didn't show up for me.
Well, and it shouldn't be I do this for you, you do this for me.
Well, exactly. But that's kind of like, I don't know. That's just the way I came up. It's like you scratch my back, I scratch yours. But that's not the way you should be. And so it's taken me a lot of like deprogramming almost to realize that you just do things for people.
Yeah, especially I feel like you're going to put yourself in a really bad way for friends if you think, hey, whatever good thing I do for my friend, it has to be reciprocated. You should be doing a good thing because it makes you feel good and not expect anything back from that, you know?
Yeah.
It's like if ever I lend a friend money, I don't lend them money, I give them money.
Yes.
I don't expect it back. If they give me money back, great. But I'm never going to lend a friend money with the expectation of money back, because otherwise, one, it's a lot of heartache for me
when it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Two, it'll build resentment
when it doesn't happen.
Exactly. But if I get money back, then great.
Great. And it's a nice surprise, and it kind of strengthens that bond a little bit. But I completely agree with you. However, I will add on to that, I would hope that I have chosen the right friends that would consider and appreciate something I do for them.
A gesture.
They don't have to give that back to the same degree, but showing appreciation and acknowledgement is very important to me, I think. And I don't know if that's something I'm going to walk back or I'm going to deprogram from myself. It goes a long way, I think.
Yeah.
Good show, babes. Good show.
Good show.
Good show. Good show. If you enjoyed this episode of Coffee and Tequila, you can go to Apple Music, or not Apple Music. We're not on Apple Music. Apple Podcasts.
We're on Apple Music. Do we have an album?
We should. We have a single coming out. Apple Podcasts. You can go to Spotify if you're listening. Give us a 5-star rating. Would be really, really helpful. That's the best way to support us. And if you want to do it.
If you want to visit us, we're also available on Walmart.com. Also a Target Circle.
What?
And
We're on YouTube. You're making people real confused. We're on YouTube.
If you look at your receipt after you go through Walgreens, you might find us on there as well.
The cashier usually like circles our survey. How did we do? No, we're also on YouTube. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like leave a like. You can go down, make a comment about anything we've said. But yeah, just best way to support us, just engagement. So we make sure to share too. It'd be really helpful. So we hope you guys are out there. We hope you're voting. We hope you're proud of your decision to vote in whichever way. I don't know, whichever way is best for you. Nobody's trying to convince you anything. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Coffee and Tequila, listening to this episode of Coffee and Tequila. We will see you next time.
Adios.